Hello, and welcome to Easy English Interviews, the podcast for English language learning. My name is Chris Kent. I'm an associate professor of English as a second language in Japan. And in this podcast, I interview interesting people in easy English, so English students can practice their listening comprehension skills. Please enjoy listening to the interviews, and if you would like to check your comprehension, please look at the questions in the podcast episode notes. Or go to kjkentmsed.substack.com and click on the post for this episode. There, you can subscribe to my Substack and receive email notifications whenever a new interview is released. インタビューを楽しみください。理解度を確認したい場合は、ポッドキャストノートの質問を見るか、URL kjkentmsed.substack.com にアクセスして、このエピソードをクリックしてください。そこで私のサブスタックをサブスクライブして、新しいインタビューがリリースされるたびに電子メール通知を受け取ることができます。Okay, and now for the easy English interview. All right, so today we're here with a very good friend of mine, Rob Beck. So Rob, thanks for taking the time to do this.
It's great to be here with you.
Okay, so my first question for you today is why did you choose to come to Japan to teach English? Can you explain a little bit about how you came to live here?
Well, I grew up having a father who actually taught karate as a part-time job. So from a very young age, I always had an interest in Japan and learned how to count to 10, little seiza, things like that. So from a young age, I was always interested in Japan and Japanese culture.
Okay. So how about when you first got here, how did you come to start opening your own school and do what you're doing now?
Well, I first came with a 1-year contract with a Kaiwa, a English conversation school. I had the opportunity to get a job with the City Hall as an ALT with a direct contract. They hired me for that, and I began working for them. And I did that for about 9 years with a direct hire from the School Board of Education. I decided during that time that I'd like to open my own school and be my own boss. When the opportunity came up, I bought a pre-existing school and I took it over and slowly built that up to where I am today, which is a fully functional school with quite a few students.
I see. So what did you study in college then before you came to Japan, and why did you choose that?
I studied business management. I had always wanted to go into business for myself. I wanted to be a businessman, own a business. A lot of the things that we didn't actually make its way over into Japan. The way things are done with business in Canada doesn't necessarily work out the same in Japan. But a lot of the basics and the foundation were the same. So business management is what I studied in university, yes.
I see. Okay, so you took that business management training and now you're running a business, so obviously you're doing kind of what you wanted to do. So in that same kind of area, can you tell me what's the good points and bad points of your job now?
Well, for sure, the best part of my job is getting to work with children and entertain children. As you know, children are hilarious.
That's true. Yeah.
We have children ourselves.
Yeah.
So they give off a lot of good energy, and it's a joy to go to work,
right?
Because you're going there and giving and getting so much energy from the people you're working with.
Right.
So that's a great thing. The downside, I would say, is the working hours. There's every day of the week, don't finish until maybe classes finish at 9:30. By the time you're done cleaning and getting everything done, 10 o'clock. So, so not finishing up until in the late evenings is kind of a downside, compared to a 9 to 5 job.
Right.
Where you would come home, have that, dinner with the family, get to spend time with them and stuff like that. So having the irregular hours is kind of a downside to my position.
I see. Okay. Switching gears here a little bit. When you were younger, what did you want to be and why?
Believe it or not, I wanted to be a comedian. I loved watching all the comedy specials that we had on the television. My club activities, as they would call them here in school, were drama club, acting, stagecraft, stuff like that. Did a lot of plays. So I was always an entertainer by heart. And I think, that was kind of the dream at first, was like, maybe comedian, actor, something like that. But then I moved in to business, a little more practical.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but that was the dream.
Okay, good. Now I'd like to ask you about Japan. So what places have you visited in Japan? And of those places, what's your favorite place?
I haven't traveled as much as I would have liked in Japan, but I did have an opportunity at one point to take, you would know it because you would actually also know the Seishonen no Fune.
Right, yeah, the youth boat.
That's right. Yeah, and so it's a project that they have here in Fuji where they give an opportunity to about 600 kids, right, junior high level, to take a cruise ship, go to Okinawa. I'd never been to Okinawa. The chance came up. I was very excited to go. Unfortunately, there were some typhoons, as it happens in the summer here.
That's right, yeah.
And so pivoted, went up to Hokkaido, which is a great place to go to. I'd never been there, and we went to a place called Hakodate. It's very well known for being one of the top 3 night views in Japan.
Wow.
And it was a beautiful place. Yeah, so Hokkaido was really, really nice. Still would love to go to Okinawa.
Yeah, okay. Well, then what kind of things about Japanese culture then do you like? I mean, obviously you've visited a few places, but, the culture aspect of it, what do you like about that?
Definitely the festival culture. There's so much to be said about the matsuri, the cherry viewing festivals, the fireworks festivals, that huge gathering of Japanese people and really close together, right? And different from maybe back home where it would be, you have a barbecue over here and, right, people, home parties and stuff. But in Japan, they really get together, and it's a really good vibe when everyone is packed in at a matsuri. We have a very unique matsuri here too, a fire festival here in Fuji.
Kaigane Matsuri, right?
Which we've been to, where you're throwing fire up in the air into these tall poles.
Yeah, it looks, and it was so dangerous, but it seems that, for that one time every year, that doesn't matter, right? I think, again, it's a festival. You do something a little bit different, even if it's a bit crazy or a bit dangerous. I know in Nagano they have a matsuri where they slide down a mountain on a tree.
Slide down the mountain on a tree.
And people get injured every year and stuff, yeah.
Dangerous, but but that's kind of the excitement that it brings, right? It's not sanitized in a way where everybody has to follow this. No. Sometimes you are allowed to kind of be free to kind of explore a little bit more. So that's great. The festival culture here is definitely one of the things that I like the most about Japanese culture.
Okay. So how about hobbies? What's your hobby now, and why do you do that hobby?
Well, I'm too old to play sports. I've got a bad ankle. But so nowadays, I enjoy spending time doing online gaming with other teachers and people in my community, getting together online, playing either a video game or something like that.
Or like a role-playing game or something?
Yeah. Last time we did that, we did some Star Wars and played, a couple of, other games. But it's good because the technology now is, you can communicate and talk while you're doing it, right? So, and so I kind of do that in my free time.
Good. How about family? Do you have any family here in Japan?
I do. I married my wife, Japanese woman. She's part of our school. She's the administrator as well, so we're a good partner. She and I had a daughter who we just recently set up an apartment in Tokyo for, so that she could easily go to her university.
Ah, nice. So finally moving out on her own.
Yeah. So
big step.
And a little bit of empty nest syndrome for myself. It's kind of sad to see her go, but becoming an adult and moving on is it's a beautiful thing.
Okay, well, and how about you then? What's your plan for the future? Obviously, you're not going back to university, so what are you planning to do?
Well, for me, it's 100% I want to travel. I haven't had the opportunity to travel. I know you've been to Italy, right? My mother and grandmother just came back from a month cruise trip in Europe, where they went to Germany, Amsterdam, Czech Republic, and just looking at all of those pictures and getting to see how much fun it is to experience. I'd love to go to Europe. I'd love to go to South America. Yeah, I'd love to travel in general. I just get to that point where get my daughter through university and then
now you're free to travel the world.
I'll be able to afford to travel the world. Yes, sir.
Okay, so my last question is one I ask everyone, and that is, if you could give any advice to students who are studying English, what would your advice be?
Use all the resources that you have available to you. I think Japanese students who are studying English, anyone studying English, they have so much to utilize. So many resources. This podcast being one of them. Listening abilities, comprehension abilities. You can use that. There's lots of resources that you can find nowadays that really helps it. So instead of previously where it would be you could only go to a language school or you could only live abroad, it's you can continually build your skills if you take the time to find those resources.
Kind of make English study your hobby kind of thing.
That would be If it's your hobby and it's something that you're interested in, then I think finding those resources is a great way to improve your language.
Yeah, and I think these days, with the technology available through smartphones, it's very easy for people to quickly find those types of resources, right? So like you say, podcast, videos, YouTube, movies, even, my kids have learned a lot of English just from watching cartoons in English too.
Right.
So, in cartoons, a lot of the easy English is repeated over and over.
Sure.
It's a good way to learn.
Yeah, no, great.
Okay, well, Rob, thank you very much. This has been fun and, of course, very interesting and informative. So thank you for taking time out of your busy day to join us today.
Yeah, it's been great. And I'm looking forward to listening to more of your podcasts.
Thanks. Well, I hope you enjoyed that interview with Rob Beck Sensei. And I would like to say thank you very much for listening. Also, I hope that you will try the comprehension questions when you have free time so you can check your listening ability in English. And please, if you would like to be notified by email whenever a new podcast is up, please become a subscriber at kjkentmsed.substack.com. That's kjkentmsed.substack.com. If you become a paid subscriber there, you can read transcripts of the interviews and check your comprehension answers. You can also check out Easy English Interviews now at easyenglishinterviews.locals, LOCALS.com. All right. Thank you again, and see you next time when we will speak with another interesting person. Bye-bye from Easy English Interviews.